on top of what you just said about a heavy theme of the movie being gambling, on top of that is this interesting take on the romance between Bond and Vesper, which is in itself a poker game. And they say that explicitly when they first meet. You know, Vesper says,
I like this poker thing.
She comes in and she's being all cute. And he's like, oh, you're adorable. And that's straight out of the novel where it's like, she comes in and she's like, I'm ready. But in the movie, they make her less naive. They make her more capable. She's a little more cynical about like this whole plan. She's like, this plan is stupid. She's reflecting what we just said. This whole plot is fucking stupid.
I suppose you've given some thought to the notion that if you lose, our government will have directly financed terrorism.
And she's not wrong. But the evolution of their love
But she's got
overall,
ulterior motives too.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we'll get to that. But the evolution of their love overall is the perfect poker game. You have the initial dealing when they first meet up.
They're reading each other.
They're sizing each other up.
I sized you up the moment we met.
It goes without being said, they're attracted to each other.
Well, your beauty's a problem. You worry you won't be taken seriously.
Which one can say of any attractive woman with half a brain. So as charming as you are, Mr. Bond, I will be keeping my eye on our government's money and off your perfectly formed house.
You noticed?
Even accountants have imagination.
There's armor, right, as she says at one point.
Facade.
The raising of the stakes, the hiding of one's true feelings, checking each other for signs of hesitation or lack of commitment or selfish intention. As she says at one point,
You think of women as disposable pleasures rather than meaningful pursuits.
And then the call, the showdown, the moment of truth where both go all in.
You're not going to let me in there, are you? You've got your armor back on. That's that.
I have no armor left. You stripped it from me. Whatever is left of me. Whatever is left of me. Whatever I am. I'm yours.
And unfortunately for Bond, this is still a zero-sum game, and he loses big. And that's what solidifies Bond's character from here to eternity. But overall, that theme of gambling, be it at the table or otherwise, is reflected in their relationship.
That's interesting. I hadn't really thought of that. You can't just jump in and show all your vulnerabilities. You gotta kind of play the game a bit.
That's the thing. In a post-sexual revolution world of shitty-ass dating, everybody has to constantly pretend like they don't care. They have to put on a poker face and pretend like, oh, I don't care. I don't care at all.
I think something is driving you, and I think I'll never find out what that is.
And then eventually, if any relationship is going to move forward, the truth has to come out.
Does everyone have a tell?
Yes. Everyone. Everyone except you. I wonder if that's why I love you.
But it's just like a poker match. Reading each other, making sure that it's safe, because both people have probably been hurt in the past or something, and so they have that armor up. That's the tragedy, is that both of them let the armor down. They let the love in. Bond is hesitant to jump in. She's hesitant to jump in. And then eventually they do both jump in, and then tragedy ensues, and that leads to the characterization of Bond.
But there you go. Lesson learned.
But we, of course, have to view their relationship from two perspectives. There's what we see on the surface, and then there's what's actually going on once we learn she's been acting as a double agent.
Don't worry. You're not my type.
Smart.
Single.
You're wrong, buddy.
She had a boyfriend, a French Algerian. They were very much in love. He was kidnapped by the organization behind Le Chiffre. And they blackmailed her, threatening to kill him unless she cooperated.
For example, take any of the poker scenes. At first, we think she's just nervous about the outcome of the game. Later, we realize, of course, that these are looks of guilt, as well as fear over the predicament of her boyfriend.
You must have thought I was bluffing, Mr. Bond.
Because she's the one that told Le Chiffre about the tell.
What do you mean? The twitch he has to hide when he bluffs.
Thereby making her responsible both for Bond losing to Le Chiffre, as well as the real reason why she doesn't give a green light for Bond to buy back in.
I'm gonna need the other $5 million to buy back in.
I can't do that, James.
This also gives added significance to her saving Bond's life after he drinks Le Chiffre's girlfriend's poison, because had she let him die, as far as she's concerned, her problems would have been over.
You okay?
Me?
And then after Le Chiffre's gone, at first we think she's legitimately fallen for Bond because of what they've been through, but later we realize she's actually playing him to get the password for the money.
It's just that not so long ago, I would have described your feelings towards me as, I'm trying to think of a better word than loathing.
I'm afraid I'm a complicated woman.
That is something to be afraid of.
Bond, completely misdirected by Le Chiffre's Mathis comment, gives her the password that because it's her name,
V-E-S-P-E-R.
we immediately see this strong emotional look on her face that at first we think is because of this simple romantic gesture, but really it's driven by this immense amount of guilt that she's been carrying around because she is literally torturing this man who seems to always have her back and do right by her. From the shower scene to the kidnapping scene, literally all the way down to the suicide scene where she's looking at him like, really, dude? You're still trying to rescue me? Even down to the minor detail of always standing up whenever she leaves a room. Bond is basically a beta male orbiter slowly leaving the friend zone, but it's all based on a lie.
Remember I told you about Le Chiffre's tell? Well, Mathis told Le Chiffre. That's how he wiped me out.
I can't believe it.
Well, neither could I.
McCurdy, you asked at one point, where is the moment where she falls for him? I think that in the end, she falls for him because from the get-go, she's trying to do whatever it takes to save her boyfriend. And she right away doesn't like this conceited, arrogant 007, but he slowly just shows that he's such a good man, right? He's an arrogant, egotistical prick, but he's such a good, chivalrous man at the end of the day, no matter how much she tries to push him away, that she falls for him because he is always on the side of good. He's not corrupt, and he's always defending the innocent. He's always doing the right thing to the point where that's where she's like,
I just want you to know that if all there was left of you was your smile and your little finger, you'd still be more of a man than anyone I've ever met.
so that is the moment if he had to pick one. But the brilliance of this romance is that there isn't just one moment. It really does organically build over time while throwing us for this loop at the end that she's actually a traitor, because it just throws on all these layers of complexity where she really is torn between these two men that she's legitimately in love with.
I figured out what that is. It's an Algerian love knot.
Really? Thought it was just something pretty.
No, you didn't. Someone gave that to you. He's a very lucky man.
And this goes back to the From Russia with Love episode where I was saying Tatiana was ordered to fall in love with Bond, but then she actually does. But with this movie, you really believe it. You can truly comprehend how this poor woman has been torn in half. It's nearly impossible to ever pick out with 100% certainty which scenes she's telling the truth and which scenes she's lying. It's brilliant.
You stopped wearing the necklace.
Yeah. It was time.
Time enough to get over someone.
Because no matter how hard I try to push you away and throw you under the bus, I can't help but love you because you're always doing the right thing. That is the attraction to Bond in general, is that even though he is this...
The man. Why can't Les guys be more like you?
Because then they'd be bad.
He's always on the side of good.
I can't help but be attracted to you.
And that's part of why she falls for him, because she's always trying to push him off, and she's actively sabotaging him the whole time. But even then, he's always persisting and winning and overcoming and still loving her. And she's desperate to stop him, and he keeps defeating that effort and her, and she loves him. But remember, she never says it. Only Bond says it, and that makes all the difference.